Welcome to our world. Won't you come on in? Waiting just for you. Welcome to our world.
Today's topic.
Uh-huh.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
And that question is, actually, I have a statement first.
Is this a regular episode or is this the blend?
This is a regular episode.
Oh, that's not good.
Why?
Because that means we have to do another episode. Okay.
We're actually
record
whatever.
multiple episodes. Go ahead.
The statement is that you have been retired
Oh, yeah.
for over a year now.
I mean, semi-retired, but yeah. Yeah, kind of,
And
pretty much.
I would like to know, how's it going?
That's a great question.
How's semi-retired life
I mean,
treating
I
you?
think, I don't know if everybody that's like, goes into retirement feels the same way, but I'm still like worried about money, right? Like, as in like, okay, since my plan is not to collect on my own Social Security, to file for Social Security, ideally until 70. So I have to just basically make do with the survivor, which for anyone that doesn't know, right? Like you get survivor's benefit, whatever, you can look into it.
Well, go ahead. You can explain it.
Well, no, it's like,
I asked you a question. You're answering
no,
it.
so your spouse works and they've worked enough to collect Social Security and they die, which obviously that happened, then there's a survivor's benefit that you can collect from Social Security. And, regular Social Security, you can do early retirement and collect as of 62. You collect as of 62, you only get like 70% of your
for
full.
now, because by 2033, it's estimated that it won't exist anymore.
Well, it has to go up.
No,
well,
it
we
won't
can talk about that in a
exist. We're going to
second.
run out of money.
Well, anyway. But for survivor's benefits, assuming you don't have children below the age of, I think, 18, 16, something like that, you can collect as early as age 60. So technically, I could have, if I stopped working at 60, I could have started collecting at age 60. I did at 61, right? So basically, I have that I get, which is, and it works the same way. If you collect it early, you get less than if you waited, but
for now, while it still exists.
you can't, that was my thought. No, you can't collect both at the same time. It's kind of,
right.
But anyway, so the only thing I'm getting is that, which is not like a huge amount of money. And then say any money from the rental house, which that's up and down. And a lot of times it's basically break even, right?
And then that's all the money that you get because you have not saved anything your whole life.
I waited until 60 and 10 months and then I saved for 2 months.
And then you retired.
At 61.
Well, no, it's interesting though, because so you and I are both semi-retired.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a much longer runway here. Whatever.
Well, okay, obviously, so you're stressed about money, but you've been stressed about money your whole life, so it's not like that's any different.
Well,
so, I just mean like the actual going from having your entire week planned,
right,
doing something that you don't really want to do anymore. I feel, okay, and not that this has to be a whole thing, but just because I'm thinking about this right now. When you started working, I'm going to say when you started working specifically at the company that you worked for most of your life, right?
Yeah.
You enjoyed it in the beginning.
I did. Yeah. I used to say when I first started working at the Angelo Brothers, I would lose track of what day of the week it was.
Right.
Right. So that's a sure sign that you don't hate your job. I was kind of excited about the things I was working on, but then kind of as the years passed by and I like hands-on stuff, right? I got into computers not because I felt like, oh, I want to manage people. That just to me is not, it's not exciting, right? Not that I have a problem with managing a team where everybody's sort of, trying to get something done, but that's in a perfect world. that's what you're doing, that's not reality, right? So once I got to the point where I felt like I was spending all my time just managing and I got more and more separated kind of from the day-to-day work with the technology, I started, where I didn't like it. And really the point when it got to where I couldn't stand it anymore was once they sold the company. And then you had people come in and they literally were people with, Wharton School of Business,
Yes.
Harvard degrees, and they were clueless,
Book
right?
smart, not street smart.
Not at all. Not at all.
So why then, and then I want to stop talking about the job specifically, but just because I've never asked you about this kind of stuff, why did you take those positions then? Why did you not stay where you liked it?
It never, well, like I said, I really did. It
where
wasn't
you knew you liked
at the point when they sold the company, and for the first
No,
year
I
it
don't
was
mean
okay,
that.
but this is my point. That's when I really hated it. Like before that, I would have rather just been doing like either the programming or the hands-on networking or things like that. But at the same time, I didn't hate my job, right? So I spent as much time as I had to on the management part and doing like performance evaluations and things like that.
I know, but
And I spent as much time as I could on the hands-on stuff. It would have, I never really, it wasn't so bad that I thought to myself, I should just, say that, no, I want to do this, hire somebody else.
Yeah, I don't mean it like it wasn't so bad. I mean, if right now you could pick one of those positions, you would obviously pick the hands-on position. So why did you not stay there? Was it for the money?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, obviously the money's part of it, right? Don't get me wrong. Good programmers make a lot of money too, or they did up until probably, for the next couple years, they'll be good, and then AI.
Sure.
But that was part of it probably. And part of it was, I don't know, maybe it was and I'm trying to think kind of like psychologically here. Maybe it was a status thing. Maybe I would have felt like, not good about myself if I did. That is exactly though what I did after they sold the company, then a year in, and it was just horrible. So at that point I went to the guy who was the CEO then, and he was a nice guy. I wish I had talked to him more actually, because I probably would have been a lot better off. I got to the point where I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And basically what I meant was, I don't want to play these games.
Yes.
The political games. The guy that was the CFO was a jerk, and
All right.
he thought he ran the department and stuff.
So now in your semi-retirement, would you still consider yourself semi-retired because you're still like doing?
I mean, I guess
consulting.
Well, like for the past month, I would say, right? I've actually 2 months. I've only had a handful of hours. Like it's under 10, might be under 5 actually, or let's say it's 5 hours. So let's say I get to the end of July. So this would be for June and July, and I have 10 hours, let's say. Well, that to me is it still semi-retired? I guess you could say it, but
I mean,
technically I feel like it's just retired then.
means not working
Well,
anymore.
It's like that. Well, it's retirement with a little, an hour or two here or there.
Okay, but in the absence of that work, you are doing more hands-on things, such as?
Right. Like I pulled my whole computer out, and like out of the blue, my computer that's from 1980, late 1985, early 1986, my Commodore Amiga 1000.
What a nerd.
No, I pulled it out, and there was a problem with the joystick that it always pointed to the left. And I actually took it apart, diagnosed the motherboard. I got a new meter. I got a new soldering station, not even just soldering iron, and was able to diagnose it, ordered the chip that I thought would fix it, and unsoldered the old one, soldered the new one in, and I fixed it. So I felt really good about that. You know what I mean? Like I did, because it's like, oh, this is cool, because this is something that, I was interested in. And here's the thing. When I was working, I was never doing that stuff, right? I was doing programming. I was doing networking. Not that we never repaired computers, but we were not replacing chips.
Right.
If the motherboard was bad, we weren't screwing around with it. So this is like a deeper level than I did before. And that's why it's really cool. Because like, I figure, retirement is not, you're not dead yet, You're just closer to dead.
It's funny you should mention that, because when I was listening to a Freakonomics podcast the other day, as I'm prone to do.
I always forget about that podcast, and I liked it.
It's an excellent podcast for anyone that's even remotely interested in how the world works. Literally every single aspect, any not just like, they just do a really good job of explaining economics concepts
like
in
deep
such
dive into
simple
stuff.
terms.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do like a whole deep dive. They have people they interview. They'll like tell you a whole story, but they tell it like it's engaging.
And let's be honest, you're returning the favor, because they also have recommended our podcast.
Yeah. Yes, we were on the most anyway.
Yeah.
But so they did one, and this podcast was actually from like 15 years ago or something, because I just randomly listen to whatever I feel like. And it was about retiring. And one of the statistics that I wanted to get your response to was that there, at this time, I don't know anymore if this is still accurate. Like I said, this was like 10, 15 years ago or something. The statistic that if you retire before 65, you have a 70% chance of dying sooner than those who wait.
The funny thing is, I heard that.
Have you?
I've heard that for a long time. And I've even, to me, that was the most depressing thing when you would hear about, especially if it's somebody you knew, somebody you had worked with, and like they retired and within 6 months they were dead.
Right.
You know, how depressing is that when you think you work your whole life? And I think, obviously, I don't know. I haven't looked into this. But to me, I think if you retire and you sit around and you do nothing,
well,
kind of like I do now. No, but no, I think you have a much better chance of like dying. You know?
Do you think it's a?
Everyone has 100% chance of dying now that I think about it. So dying sooner.
Dying sooner, right?
Yeah.
Because I always, when I hear stuff like that, I always wonder: is it more of a causation or correlation thing? And that's obviously what people think. Maybe not thinking it specifically like that, but when you hear a statistic like that, and I'm thinking of like so many different situations where it's like, I don't know, maybe you what? Go ahead.
No, well, you know what I think happens? Okay, first of all, obviously, when people retire, they're older already,
right?
So you have an increased chance of dying the older you get, but also your life completely changes. So all of a sudden, your eating habits are different. Your exercise habits are different.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting up, you know, and I think that puts stress on your body. The stress level for people drops when they retire, right? So that's the opposite. But I think, I think for myself, and there are a lot of people in this same boat, where you take medication and you have certain medications that you have to. You know, you have to take it at the same time. You have to be careful what you eat with it. If all of a sudden your diet changes drastically, I think that might have an effect on it. But I mean, who knows?
I also think kind of though, because you can say about your stress level in general lowers and all that, but then kind of how we had talked about on a previous episode about what's the point of life, like a life, what is the meaning of it and all of that stuff. I had kind of said in that podcast that people would argue part of the meaning of life is finding purpose in something.
Yeah.
And I would argue a lot of people find purpose in their jobs.
Right.
So once you retire, especially, and not that this is a bad thing, but especially for people in your generation that were much more likely to stay with a company for an extended period of time, you have such like a comfort zone and just like a level of familiarity and all of that.
Well, that's the other thing. You have the same people, right? So you have a group of like work friends that you see every day, right? And so for a lot of people, it's like they get lonely because now all of a sudden, if they don't have other friends, especially like in our case, right? Where at the same time, well, right before technically I retired, but moved at the same time. So all the people that were in the area up in Pennsylvania, they're not around.
Right.
So, I have no friends anymore. But I've always been kind of a loner, a rebel. I kind of keep to myself.
Okay.
I just got to get some guns. Other than that, I'm ready to go and ready to,
I would never describe you as a rebel.
I should get a job at the post office. That's it.
Well, that's the other thing, though, because you had talked about maybe at some point getting
Killing
a
people.
No.
Oh, okay.
You talk about that every day.
Okay.
About getting a part-time job and just to, well, partly for the money, but also partly just to have a reason to leave the house.
It's funny. It's funny because maybe it was when we went to Disney the last time, and I thought again, I saw somebody working, and I thought, it was probably even just the people parking the cars, maybe, which I'm not saying that would be ideal. But I thought to myself again about that. Maybe I should try to get a job in a little shop like at Disney, working there. But then I feel like, no, then I have to get up. I have to be like, oh, I got to work tomorrow. And you know the way I am. Even now, like there are obviously things I have to worry about. Things that, whether it's a doctor's appointment, whether it's I have to go somewhere or I have to do something, and I still I feel like I've done all of that. I feel like I tried to get all of that out of the way so I don't have to worry about it,
But then also, as a third-party observer, I feel like there are some days where you're very clearly bored and looking for something to do. And I think definitely in the beginning, like when you first semi-retired, it seemed very uncomfortable for you, which makes sense. But after everything we've talked about, like how you're used to a routine, you're used to all that stuff. Now, I think now with you getting into doing more things that you can do now that you have free time, like with your computer and all of that stuff, it doesn't seem like you're uncomfortable at all in retirement. It just seems like some of the time that you're bored. Maybe you just don't have anything that needs to be done. So you're like, I don't know what to do right now.
And here's the thing. It was different for me than a lot of people, right? Because since I was working from home for the last couple years.
After the pandemic?
Yeah. Since I was working from home, it's not like I had to get up, go to work. Like I was talking to people every day, right, from work. But it's not like I was seeing those people. So, and since I sort of semi-retired and I still wound up talking to those same people just less often, a lot less often, especially now, it wasn't the same as it would be for other people. But most days, I don't know. I put it this way. I remember when I was a kid during the summer, at times being way more bored than I am now.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't see myself as bored. I see myself as like, there's all these things I could be doing and I don't know what to do. Like I got into...
So you're just lazy.
Well, no, well, that goes without saying. No, but I got into this retro computer stuff, and I ordered another computer and it's supposed to come. And then I'm thinking, okay, I may be completely over this in a week or two. I even so the soldering iron that I got and all that stuff. So I used it to fix this computer. And I had it set up here on this desk, and part of it is because of space, but I put it all away. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if this other one comes and something needs to be fixed, I'll pull it back out. But at the same time, am I going to be actively looking for broken computers just to try to fix them? I don't know. So I guess, a lot of days it's like, well, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. I mean, you know me, I don't typically, like if I'm going to watch something on TV, I'm much more likely to choose YouTube videos, almost like if I was reading a book, which obviously I don't know how to read. But I don't know how to read, right? But even for audiobooks, I have no interest, or very little interest, I should say, in reading fiction versus reading historical or just opposite of fiction.
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction, that's it.
Yeah, real difficult word there. Did you ever finish your Hitler book?
You know what? I stopped listening to it for a while, and the last time I was in the car, when I was putting podcasts on, I remembered and I went back and started listening to it again. That's a long book, though.
It is not. I should clear. Can you explain what this is? Because I feel like
it's basically
Hitler book.
About it's a biography on Hitler, and it's really good. It's my admiration for the author of this book.
No.
What? The author of the book.
The author. Okay. You know what's so crazy?
No, this author, I think he was like a reporter, right? And so he was there for a lot of these events.
Really weird.
So it's firsthand. It wasn't I'm saying though, it was a lot of this is firsthand. Like it's very. When I first started listening to it, you know the way I am. I'm skeptical of everything. I'm always worried that someone is putting their bias into it. But in this case, the more I listen to this, it's like he was literally there for these things. So it is really interesting.
Something else that's really interesting.
What?
Because I also am in my semi-retirement learning. I love learning things, and I'm also a nerd, and I read a lot of economics things and watch a lot of whatever. I will watch literally this is so embarrassing. This isn't even embarrassing, but it's like something that people would make fun of you for because people are stupid and whatever. I will literally watch random economics topics, like random lectures on YouTube and stuff.
I figured
it's so fascinating.
Yeah, like
it's
TED
just
Talks
so cool.
type things, but you're talking deeper
like
than
an
that.
actual
lecture
class on
yeah,
something.
No, I don't think.
So one of the things because that's what I was doing this morning actually for part of my time, and one of the things they mentioned coincidentally is it was about inflation, different things about inflation, but about how before Hitler came into power and all that stuff, like before he wrote his book and all that, inflation at that time in Germany was, I don't remember the specific number, but it was like 30,000% inflation or something from
like
whatever the
crazy.
previous thing, which is so insane you consider. And I would love to have a whole thing about like inflation, obviously, but the goal for inflation, like a good inflation rate for a country, is 2%. And so when you think about that, not even knowing anything else about inflation or how the economy works or anything, 2% is much, much different than 30,000%.
Yeah.
And so that's what Germany was going through at this time. And it kind of like, without knowing anything else, obviously I'm not reading that book, and I'll stop talking about this specific subject right now, but this is crazy to me because I never knew that. It blows your mind.
Think about it. Think about how much people complained a couple years ago when the inflation rate was 9%.
Yes, which is high.
It is high. And I mean, it wasn't since the early 1980s. That was the highest since the early 1980s, which is crazy. But, so things got obviously really bad economically in Germany, and that's what helped Hitler get elected. Yeah. And the funny thing is, and you can't say this, but, and I'm not saying this, but maybe Hitler was really good at economics. Maybe his economic plan for the country was awesome. The problem is, he was a maniacal, evil person who literally wanted to take over the world, basically,
here's
right?
The thing. And I think a lot of people make that analogy in comparison to Donald Trump, and that is why they're upset.
So here's the thing, right? So because I was listening to something and I was thinking, and there was the guy that's Ken Langone. He's the founder of Home Depot. He's a good guy, right? But obviously,
you know
he's
him
very,
personally.
I do. I know him. I know him on a very personal level.
Okay.
No, but he, like they were talking about, like he thinks it's stupid that he gets a Social Security check for $5,000 every month.
I agree.
He's like, I don't need this, right? And I can understand both arguments as far as that goes, because Social Security isn't supposed to be a welfare program, blah blah blah. But whatever. My point is, he's not just some rich guy who, like he's a good guy. Supposedly, they pay the workers. I don't know. I don't want to get into details about him. He was kind of like, I wouldn't say he was necessarily anti-Trump, but he was concerned. I'm just making the point. I'm just, let me make the point. But now he's like, kind of like, he likes the stuff that he's doing. I guess my thought is Trump could have never gotten elected if there weren't some of the issues, right?
And same with Hitler. So
right. Not to say that things were as bad as when Hitler was elected.
So back to retirement.
Yeah.
Which Hitler never got to enjoy. Okay.
Yeah.
I say sarcastically, obviously. Do you what?
No, one thing about you, I was going to say, it's good that you're watching those lectures, because they say it's really good to keep your mind sharp in retirement. So it's good that you're doing that.
I know. Would you say you enjoy being retired?
Yes.
If the alternative were to return to where you were, you obviously choose retirement.
Yes.
So is it accurately rated? Is it overrated? Is it underrated? What do I have to look forward to?
I still listen to a decent number of retirement podcasts or watch retirement videos. And the thing that I can't relate to this anymore. People that say, I'm never going to retire,
Because they just love their jobs that much.
I mean, I guess they do. But then I always think to myself, well, then do the same thing, but like on your own. Like it's different maybe for somebody that owns their own company, right? Because then they're completely setting the rules. They have nobody that they have to worry about telling them what to do or anything like that. There shouldn't be any frustration because if they have an issue with someone, they can get rid of them. If they feel like the company's going in the wrong direction, they could change the direction. So those people maybe I could sort of understand. But other than that, I kind of feel like why? Like, in other words, if you like, I don't know, working on computers, go ahead, do it on your own time. If you like teaching, right? Think how easy it is. You could just start creating YouTube videos and say, this is a channel where I'm going to teach you this. And maybe it makes some money off it, but maybe you don't. But if you like doing it, why not? Like, in other words, and this is assuming you got to the point where you didn't need the money, why would you do it? I mean, I know some people, even if they got to the point where they have enough money, like to get by, they still want to keep working because they want to have, they want to be able to spend more money. So, I mean that's...
I think part of it, though, that answer goes back to what I'm saying, which is if you find purpose in it, and if without it, you're kind of like, what am I? What am I doing? And
I get that.
Saying, yeah, you could do YouTube videos and all that stuff. You still have that purpose.
I feel like when you're younger, and since you're now retired, you can't really relate to this.
I can't.
Either. No, but I feel like part of the reason you work, or one of the benefits you get out of it, is sort of affirmation that I'm good at this, and somebody's willing to pay me to do this, and it's kind of like telling you, yeah, you're good at this. I feel like once you get to the point where you know that, you don't need, like, I don't need anyone to tell me that I'm smart. And I'm not saying this like to brag. I'm saying it just to state a fact, right? Like, are there people that are smarter than me? Yeah, there are lots of people that are smarter than me. But there are many, many, many more people who are, not smart. And I think I'm like logical, so I have plenty of flaws, but
I think if you're looking at like the hierarchy of needs, though, and kind of what you're talking about is like this self-affirmation, which is, the top of the pyramid. You've reached your peak and all of that stuff. That's only attainable once all of your other things are met. And so for a lot of people, the money is the factor.
That's the primary,
because I'm thinking about me, who's currently writing a book series, and thinking about like, yeah, would it be nice for people to like it and it to become popular just to confirm like, yeah, I'm a good writer, even though I know I'm a good writer. It'd be nice for everybody else to confirm it.
Right.
But then I'm also like, well, yeah, but the money would be really nice too. But then I'm thinking about like J.K. Rowling. And for her, if she writes something else right now and, it's super popular and all that, she doesn't need the money. It's not like she cares about that. And she already knows that she's a good writer and she's made it. So it's like where, I don't know. Like,
but I feel like, so somebody like that, right, who's already very successful, money-wise, they're fine. She likes writing. So to me, the nice thing would be there's no stress anymore. In other words,
no
it's
pressure.
not like you have to worry about the publisher wants this book done by, the end of August. So you're like killing yourself. It's like, no, if any given day she feels like writing, she writes. If she doesn't, she doesn't.
Right.
And like, that's kind of the way I look at the nice thing about retirement, right? You get up every day. And except those days when you have something scheduled, which I hate those. But no, you get up every day and you decide like, what do you want to focus on today? And that's kind of cool.
That's nice. So you're happy in retirement?
Yeah, overall I am.
So am I. I'm glad we're
because
both happy in retirement.
Getting back kind of the affirmation thing, I now know for sure I don't need any friends.
Okay, alrighty. This has been a lovely talk. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great week, everyone. If you're retired, let us know how your retirement's going. If you're not, let us know what you're looking forward to in retirement.
I hope this works. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
I need to change the color.
Come back.
What? Baby, come back. Hey. Nice yellow for today. It's nice and gloomy. You know, was that a bug?
No. Is there a bug?
I don't know. I thought I saw.
It's a cloud.
I thought I saw.
Okay.
What? Well, let's all calm down.
What are we talking about today?
I have concepts of
of a plan.
What I would like to know, my question is for you today.
Yes. I'm checking the audio levels while we're speaking.
Oh no, my tea's over there. Can you pass me my tea? There's something in my tooth. I can't do this.
Oh no. Are we doing? Oh.
What did I even just eat? How?
Come on, we can't waste time here. I have things to do.
It feels like a popcorn kernel, but I didn't have any popcorn.
Did you last month? Were you at the movies in the last year?
Like 3 months ago.
Popcorn kernels can stay in your teeth for like years.
No, it's been 2 years since I've had popcorn.
No, there was a study on that by the University of Denver.
Here. We're done here.
Okay.
I need you to stop whatever you're doing. Okay, what am I doing?
I don't know.
All right, cut. Restart.